My name is Ree Brown. I'm a self-taught artist. I live in Seattle, Washington, near Green Lake. A self-taught artist is a person who has never had formal art training since elementary school. I don't have any real reason for doing what I do, I just do it. Simplicity is very important to me. That's what I wish to be, is just an ordinary, everyday person. And I don't think any talent that I may have should interfere or make me feel great because of it. Because I don't. I started out drawing when we had an antique shop. To fill in the hours that no one was coming in to buy, I was copying things from books of whatever was around. It wasn't that I wanted to pursue it. It was my friend Jay Steensma. When he saw some of my watercolors, and he was showing with me a gallery, he took them in to her, and that's when I started doing it more, started showing them. That's when I became more or less of a professional at it. Jay was a very near and dear friend. He was a graduate from the University of Washington with BA in elementary education and art history. He was a dedicated artist, and he insisted on spending most of his time doing that. He was also a bipolar person who had problems, and as all of them do. It was difficult for him to get into galleries to show. But, when they did take him, he was very successful at it. Jay passed away on October 7, 1994. It was very difficult. Well, thanks to the presence of some good friends, I was able to survive. When I'm painting, I generally feel very relaxed and like I don't want to be disturbed for an hour or two. I started out with watercolors, and then I went into tempera. And I started painting on all kinds of odd pieces of cardboard, cereal boxes, cigarette boxes, or whatever happened to be around, and I just painted on those. And I was not one for wasting things. I painted the birds because I was actually copying Jay, I think, because he started painting birds prolifically. And so I gave my rendition of them. The cats, I don't know, that was just something fluke that came along one day when I happened to do a cat. And maybe it was because I was nursing a bunch of strays out here on the front lawn for a couple of years there. And I made the mistake of feeding them, and so we had more feral cats. Mainly it is people. And I think the reason I do that is because when I was drawing mostly, we would go out in public places and sit and draw the people around. Jay did it, I did it, and so that is probably why I do that, is because that's what I'm most familiar with. I haven't painted anyone from real life. I've drawn a few people from life, but I paint from my imagination, and mostly blacks. And I think the reason that they're that is because they have a better contrast in the paint color than us pale people do. When you put the brush onto the paper, a happy accident is if it looks okay when you finish the figure, the outline of the figure. Every once in a while, there's a time or two when that happens to me, that I really did something that was worthwhile. But generally, I'm just more or less pleased to accept whatever happens. But sometimes, once in a while, there is some that are exceptional. I don't know that I could even answer why I like to do it, but for some reason, you know, the unknown force there that kind of guides me. But I don't like to be obsessed with it, you know. I only do it when I feel like I'm ready for it. But you know, I know a lot of artists that are very obsessed. It's a daily chore with them. And maybe that is good, but it isn't good for me, so I don't do that. We bought this house in the fall of 1973, probably around Thanksgiving Day. I've noticed a considerable change in this neighborhood since then, because it used to be sort of a, you know, smaller houses like I have here. There's only maybe 3 of them left. The rest of them have all undergone severe changes. I try to be modest, and I try to be very silent about most things, unless I feel deeply about them. And then I do speak up about it. And I do not like a lot of the things that are happening in this country now. And I would like to change it. Some of the signs that I have in the house, I hang them in the window once in a while. Let the neighbors know what I'm all about. Keeps them quiet. Basically, I am satisfied with my life. I'm not unhappy about a great deal of it. There is a few years in the late 60s I was sort of mad at everybody in the world. I wasn't really mad, I was just extremely unhappy because in a very short period of time I lost my wife, my mother, and my father. And I had a hard time dealing with it. But, you know, I am not unhappy now. I do not like to dwell on it, though. I have plenty of things that I'm interested in. I enjoy a good meal with some friends. I do that frequently, you know, and it's nice. I enjoy gardening and plants because I like being outside. And, you know, I do enjoy the beauty that these things have. I mean, I know it's a very waning thing, but it comes and goes, and I need another acre of ground. But I'm not going to have one. Oh, look who's coming into this. Come on there. I actually don't think I've ever had a philosophy of life, you know, that I could say in so many words. But I do try to live my life in a way that doesn't interfere with what's going on with other people. And as long as they don't interfere with me, I'm perfectly happy. I'll be remembered by some as being a rather decent individual, and by others as being somewhat hard to get along with. And I think I fulfill both quite well.
Is